In the heart of Ghana, in a village called Kwaku's Cross, where three rivers meet, there exists a market that should not exist. It appears only once a year, always on the night of the new moon in the 7th month, always in the clearing where the baobab tree grows, the tree that locals say is older than memory, older than the village itself, older perhaps than time. The market has no name. The traders have no faces. The goods they sell cannot be found anywhere else in the world. And every single thing they offer comes with a price that most people discover far too late. Some call it a homkadwaso, the hidden market. Others call it Owo Adwuma, Death's workshop. But most simply call it the place you go when you have nothing left to lose. Because the ghost market sells what cannot be bought elsewhere: youth, beauty, talent, luck, love, time itself. They sell memories you've lost and futures you haven't lived. They sell the things desperate people would sacrifice anything to obtain. But here's what the traders don't tell you, what they never tell you until it's far too late. Everything you buy, you pay for twice. Once with what you have, and once with what you'll become. This is the story of Kofi Mensah, a farmer's son who thought he could outsmart the spirits, who believed he was clever enough to shop at the ghost market and escape unscathed, who learned that some bargains cost more than gold, more than blood, more than life itself. If you've ever wanted something so badly, you'd sell your soul for it. If you've ever made a deal you regretted, if you've ever wondered what happens when you trade with the dead, stay with me, because this story will teach you why our ancestors warned us. Never bargain with ghosts, never shop in markets that shouldn't exist, and never, ever believe you can cheat death. Welcome to the ghost market. It opens at midnight, and once you enter, leaving with your soul intact is the real challenge. Kindly subscribe to grow this channel. Kofi Mensah was born to nothing and expected to die with nothing. His father, Kwame Mensah, owned 3 acres of tired land that barely grew enough cassava to feed their family of 7. His mother, Abina, worked her fingers to the bone, weaving baskets that sold for pennies at the market. His 4 younger siblings, Ya, Aqua, Ama, and little Kwabena, all looked to Kofi as the one who would save them. But how could he save anyone when he had nothing to give? At 23, Kofi was everything the village elders shook their heads at. Smart but uneducated. School cost money they didn't have. Strong but directionless. All jobs required connections he didn't possess. Handsome but unmarried. What woman wanted a man with empty pockets and emptier prospects? The village chief's daughter, Efua, was the only light in Kofi's dark world. She was beautiful, educated, kind, everything Kofi was not. And impossibly, miraculously, she loved him. I don't care that you're poor, Efua would whisper when they met in secret by the river. I love you for who you are, not what you have. But her father cared. Chief Osei cared very much. My daughter will marry a man of substance, the chief declared when Kofi finally gathered courage to ask for Efua's hand. A man with land, with prospects, with a future. You have nothing. You are nothing, and you will never be worthy of her. Kofi left the chief's compound humiliated, heartbroken, and burning with desperate rage. That night, as he walked home through the forest, an old woman stepped out from behind the ancient baobab tree. You seek to change your fortune, Kofi Mensah? Her voice was like wind through dead leaves. Kofi froze. He'd never seen this woman before. Her clothes were old-fashioned, from another era. Her eyes were clouded with cataracts, but somehow saw straight through him. "Who are you?" he asked. "Someone who knows what you need and where you can get it." She smiled, revealing teeth filed to points in the old way, the way no one had done for 100 years. "The ghost market opens in 3 nights. Go to the baobab clearing at midnight. Bring something precious to trade, and maybe, just maybe, you'll find what you seek." She vanished, not walked away, vanished. Like smoke dispersing in wind, Kofi stood alone in the forest, heart pounding, knowing he should dismiss this as hallucination or trickery. But desperation makes fools of wise men, and Kofi was already desperate. Kofi asked the elders about the ghost market. Most denied its existence. But a few, the very old ones, the ones who remembered things the village wanted forgotten, they told stories. Papa Ya, who was 93 and had seen 3 wars, leaned close and whispered, "My grandmother went to that market once, bought youth, came back looking 20 years old again. But within a month, everyone she loved started aging rapidly. Her husband died of old age at 45. Her children became elderly before her eyes. The youth she bought, she stole it from those she loved. When she finally understood, she hanged herself from the baobab tree. Some say her spirit still guards the market, warning others away." Nana Ama, the village priestess, grabbed Kofi's arm with surprising strength when he asked about it. "That market is not for the living. The traders there are As and Bosam, the forest spirits who feed on human desperation. They offer everything and deliver exactly what they promise. But the cost is never what you think. They twist their bargains, Kofi. They find loopholes in your understanding. And by the time you realize what you've truly paid, it's too late to undo it." But the warnings only made Kofi more curious, more certain that if he was just clever enough, just careful enough with his words, he could make a deal that wouldn't backfire. He was young, he was desperate, and he believed he was smarter than his ancestors. All fatal mistakes. 3 nights later, Kofi prepared for the ghost market. He needed something precious to trade, something valuable enough to bargain with. But what did he have? His family owned almost nothing of worth. Then he remembered his grandfather's ring, pure gold, handed down through 5 generations, the last valuable thing their family possessed. His mother wore it on a chain around her neck, hidden beneath her dress, a secret comfort that they weren't entirely destitute. That night, while his family slept, Kofi stole the ring. His mother would weep when she discovered it missing. His father would rage, but Kofi told himself it was for them. If he could buy success at the market, he could lift them all from poverty. The ring would be a small sacrifice for a great gain. At 11:45 p.m., Kofi walked through the silent village toward the baobab clearing. The night was moonless, perfect darkness, no stars visible, no sounds except his own footsteps and his hammering heart. As midnight approached, the air grew cold, unnatural cold, the kind that has nothing to do with temperature and everything to do with the presence of things that shouldn't be. At exactly midnight, the market appeared. One moment, the clearing was empty. The next, it was full. Stalls stretched into impossible distances, far beyond where the forest should have been. Lanterns hung in the air without supports, casting light that was simultaneously too bright and not bright enough. The air smelled of incense, rotting flowers, and something else, something ancient and hungry. The traders stood behind their stalls, but Kofi couldn't quite see their faces. Every time he tried to focus on one, his eyes would slide away as if looking at them directly might cause madness. And the goods. Oh, the goods they sold. One stall offered bottles of golden liquid labeled youth. Another sold jars containing swirling mists, labeled talent, musical, talent, athletic, talent, scholarly. A third had shelves of hourglasses filled with sand, labeled time, 1 year, time, 10 years, time, a lifetime. There were stranger things too. Mirrors that showed alternate lives you could have lived. Seeds that grew into trees bearing fruit of forgotten memories. Masks that would make you beautiful to everyone who saw you. Knives that could cut away your bad luck. And in every stall, the prices were listed. A memory, a dream, your shadow, your laughter, 10 years of life, your firstborn's joy, your father's peace, your mother's love. Kofi wandered through the market, overwhelmed and terrified and exhilarated all at once. A trader, this one he could almost see, a tall figure in elaborate robes, called out, "You seek fortune, young men, sir. I can see it in your eyes, the hunger for more, the shame of less. Come, I have what you need." Kofi approached the stall. This one sold success, bottled, labeled, guaranteed. Success in what form? Kofi asked, trying to keep his voice steady. Any form you desire. Business success, social success, romantic success. I can make you the richest man in your village. I can make Chief Osei beg you to marry his daughter. I can give you everything you've ever wanted. For what price? The trader smiled. Kofi could see the smile even if he couldn't see the face. For you, special price. That ring you're clutching, your grandfather's ring, that will buy you 5 years of success. Everything you touch will prosper. Every venture will profit. Every person will respect you. 5 years. And then what? Then you come back and buy more. Or you live with what you've built. Many do quite well with 5 years of success properly invested. It seemed too simple, too easy. Kofi's suspicions flared. What's the catch? What am I really trading? The ring? No. What else? What's the hidden cost? The trader laughed. A sound like shattering glass. Smart boy. Smarter than most. Very well. The truth. For every year of success you buy, someone you know will experience failure. Their businesses will crumble. Their relationships will end. Their luck will sour. 5 years of your success means 5 years of failure distributed among those around you, but you won't know who. It might be strangers, might be friends, might be family. The spirits choose, not you. That's evil. That's balance. Success doesn't appear from nothing. It's redistributed, taken from those who have it and given to those who buy it. We're simply facilitating the transfer. Kofi stepped back, disgusted. I won't do that. I won't buy success with someone else's failure. Then browse elsewhere. We have many stalls, many options. Surely one will suit your particular brand of desperation. Kofi wandered deeper into the market, past stalls selling dreams and nightmares, past traders offering to erase memories or create new ones, past goods so strange he couldn't understand what they even were. Then he found it. A small stall, easily overlooked, with a single trader who seemed almost human, almost kind. Talent, the sign read, pure talent, no side effects, no hidden costs, simple transaction. The trader was an old woman, or appeared to be. Her face was kind, her smile genuine. She looked like someone's grandmother, not a forest spirit. You look lost, child, she said gently. I'm looking for a way to change my life, to become worthy of the woman I love, to lift my family from poverty, but I don't want to hurt anyone else to do it. Honorable. Rare in this market. She pulled out a small clay pot sealed with wax. This contains talent, specifically talent for farming. Anyone who drinks this will possess extraordinary agricultural knowledge. They'll know exactly what to plant, when to plant it, how to tend it. Their crops will be abundant, their livestock healthy. They'll prosper through honest work, not stolen luck. What's the price? Your grandfather's ring. That's all? Just the ring? No hidden costs? The old woman's smile didn't waver. The ring and one more thing. A small thing, barely worth mentioning. Kofi's suspicions returned. What thing? Your ability to taste sweetness. From the moment you drink this talent, you'll never taste sugar again. No honey, no fruit, no joy in food's pleasure. Nutrition, yes. Survival, yes. But the simple pleasure of sweetness, gone forever. Kofi considered. It seemed reasonable. Sad, but not terrible. He could live without sweet foods, especially if it meant prosperity for his family. Why sweetness specifically? Because the spirits who grant the talent require payment in simple joys. Sweetness is one of life's most basic pleasures. You trade the ability to taste it for the ability to create abundance. Seems fair, no? It did seem fair, which made Kofi nervous. Is there anything else? Any other catches? The old woman leaned close. Her breath smelled of earth and rot. Boy, I'll tell you a truth no other trader here will admit. Every transaction in this market has consequences you cannot foresee. I've told you the obvious cost, but life is complicated. Cause and effect ripple outward in ways no one can predict. If you want absolute certainty, absolute safety, walk away. Leave this market. Leave your poor but simple life. But if you want a chance, just a chance at something better, then make the trade and accept that you cannot control everything that follows. Kofi stood at a crossroads. Every instinct screamed to walk away, but the thought of Efua marrying someone else, of his siblings going hungry, of his parents dying in poverty, those thoughts screamed louder. He handed over the ring. The old woman took it, and the ring dissolved in her palm like sugar in water. Drink, she said, offering the clay pot. Kofi drank. The liquid tasted of soil and rain and green growing things. It tasted, he realized with sudden sadness, of the last sweet thing he would ever experience. The moment he swallowed, knowledge flooded his mind. He understood crop rotation, pest control, soil composition, water management, plant genetics, everything. Generations of agricultural wisdom compressed into instant expertise. Go, the old woman said. Plant, prosper, and remember, you chose this. Whatever comes, you chose it. Kofi left the market as dawn broke. Behind him, the stalls and traders vanished like morning mist. By the time he looked back, the clearing was empty again. Just the ancient baobab tree standing silent guard. Kofi's transformation was immediate and dramatic. He planted his father's 3 tired acres using his new knowledge. He rotated crops perfectly, managed water precisely, chose varieties that thrived in their specific soil. Within 2 months, their harvest was triple the normal yield. Within 6 months, they'd bought 3 more acres. Within a year, Kofi was the most successful farmer in the village. His cassava was legendary. His yams were enormous. His plantains were perfection. Other farmers came to him for advice, which he gave freely, making him not just wealthy, but beloved. Chief Ose noticed. This Mensa boy, he said. Perhaps I judged too quickly. When Kofi asked again for Efua's hand, the chief agreed immediately. The wedding was grand. Afua was radiant. Everything Kofi had dreamed of was coming true. He'd outsmarted the ghost market. He'd bought talent with only a ring, and the loss of sweetness, a small price for such abundance. Or so he thought. It started small. So small, Kofi almost didn't notice. His father, Kwame, began to lose interest in farming. The work he'd done his entire life suddenly felt meaningless to him. He'd stand in the fields, staring at nothing, unable to remember why he'd ever loved the land. It's just old age, Kofi told himself. He's earned his rest. Then Yor, Kofi's younger brother, began to complain that food tasted bland. Everything is so boring now, Yor said, like I'm chewing cardboard. You're just growing up, Kofi said. Adult tastes are different. But little Kwabena, only 8 years old, stopped smiling. Just stopped. He still laughed sometimes, but it was hollow. He still played, but joylessly. The sweetness had gone out of his life, literally and metaphorically. Kofi began to notice a pattern. Everyone he loved most deeply was losing something. His mother stopped weaving. The creative joy that had sustained her through poverty just vanished. Aqua couldn't enjoy music anymore. Alma stopped playing with her friends. And Afua, beautiful, kind, Afua began to complain that life felt flat. I should be happy, she told Kofi. We have everything we need, but I feel empty, like something essential is missing. Kofi's blood ran cold. He understood now. The old woman had told him the obvious cost, his own ability to taste sweetness. But the hidden cost, the unforeseen consequence, was that sweetness was being drained from everyone he loved. Not the literal ability to taste sugar, but joy, pleasure, the simple sweetness of living. He'd bought talent, and the price was being extracted from those around him. 1 year after his first visit, as the new moon approached again, Kofi returned to the baobab clearing. The market appeared at midnight, exactly as before. He found the old woman's stall. She smiled when she saw him. Back so soon? Most wait years before returning. You have to undo it, Kofi said desperately. The talent, take it back, return the sweetness. Impossible. Once a trade is made, it's permanent. You lied to me. You said the only cost was my ability to taste sweetness. No, I said that was the obvious cost. I specifically told you there would be unforeseen consequences. You chose to accept that risk. But my family, they're losing their joy. My wife is miserable. My little brother stopped smiling. This isn't what I wanted. It never is. That's why we call them unforeseen consequences. The old woman's kindness had vanished, replaced by cold indifference. You got exactly what you bargained for. Talent. The fact that talent creates imbalance, that success requires sacrifice, that gain, for one, means loss for others. These are simply the laws of existence. We didn't create them, we merely facilitate them. Then, I'll buy something else, something to restore what they lost. You have nothing left to trade. Your ring is gone. What else can you offer? Kofi fell to his knees. Please, they're innocent. They didn't make this bargain. I did. Exactly, you did. And they paid the price. That's how family works, boy. Your choices always affect those you love. We just made it more obvious. She leaned forward. But I'll tell you a secret. Since you were honest enough to refuse the success by failure trade, there is one way to undo a ghost market bargain. How? Sacrifice. True sacrifice. Give up something more valuable than what you gained. Trade something that costs you everything. Then, maybe, the balance shifts back. What do I trade? That's for you to decide. And quickly. The market closes at dawn. If you walk away now, the bargain stands forever. Kofi wandered the market desperately, searching for an answer. He found a stall selling reversal, the ability to undo one ghost market trade. The price, 20 years of life. He could do it. Give up 20 years to restore his family's joy. He'd still have a good life, just shorter. But as he reached for the reversal bottle, he saw something else. Another stall. This one offering absolution. The sign read, "Take the full burden of your bargain upon yourself. Remove all consequences from those you love. Make the price yours alone. The cost, your happiness, all of it, forever." Kofi stared at this choice. If he took absolution, his family would be restored. Ifua would smile again. Kwabena would laugh. His mother would weave with joy. His father would love his land. But Kofi would never be happy again. Not sad, exactly. Just absent of happiness. He'd exist, but never truly leave. Ifua would have a husband who was present, but hollow. His children would have a father who couldn't feel joy at their accomplishments. He'd be a walking ghost. "Choose," the trader hissed. Dawn approaches. Kofi thought of little Kwabena's smile, of his mother's songs while she wove, of Ifua's laughter by the river before they married. He took the absolution. The moment he drank it, he felt happiness drain from him, like water from cracked clay. The emotion simply ceased to exist within him. He could remember what happiness felt like, but could no longer feel it. He stumbled out of the market as dawn broke. Behind him, the stalls vanished. The years after. Kofi Mensah lived another 40 years after that second visit to the ghost market. His farm prospered. His family was restored. Kwabena smiled again. Ifua found joy in life. His siblings laughed and loved and lived fully. But Kofi himself moved through life like a shadow. He was kind, but not warm. Successful, but not satisfied. Present, but not really there. Ifua knew something had changed. She'd ask, "Are you happy, my love?" And he'd say, "I have everything I need," which wasn't the same thing. On his deathbed, 63 years old and surrounded by children and grandchildren who loved him, Kofi finally told the truth. He told them about the ghost market, about his bargains, about the cost he'd paid to restore their joy. "Why?" Ifua wept. "Why didn't you tell us? We would rather have shared the burden than have you carry it alone." "Because that's what love is," Kofi said. Carrying what others cannot. Paying prices they shouldn't have to pay. After he died, his children debated whether to warn others about the ghost market or whether to let the knowledge die with him. His eldest son, named Kwame after his grandfather, made a decision. "We tell the story. Every generation must hear it. Not as entertainment, but as warning. The ghost market still appears. It still tempts the desperate, and people still believe they can outsmart the spirits." And so, the story of Kofi Mensah became legend in Kwaku's Cross and beyond. Parents tell it to children who want things they cannot have. Elders tell it to young people who believe they're clever enough to cheat fate. Priests tell it to congregations who forget that easy answers are usually expensive answers. The baobab tree still stands. The clearing still exists. And once a year, on the new moon of the 7th month, the ghost market still appears. Some people still go, they always do. Because desperation is eternal. Because hope makes fools of us all. Because humans always believe they'll be different, smarter, more careful than those who came before. Most leave with nothing, too terrified to make a trade. Some make small bargains, and live with small consequences. And a very few, make trades like Kofi did and spend their lives paying prices that compound like interest on impossible debts. Dear viewers, this story isn't just folklore. It's a warning about choices and consequences, about quick fixes and long costs, about believing that we can have what we want without sacrifice. Because the truth is, we all shop in ghost markets, maybe not literal ones with spirit traders, but metaphorical ones. When we chase success without asking what we're sacrificing, when we want things now without considering the price later, when we make choices that seem small but ripple outward to hurt those we love. The ghost market is just a story, but what it represents, the temptation to trade away pieces of ourselves and others for immediate gain, that's very, very real. So ask yourself, what would you trade for what you desperately want? And more importantly, who would pay the price alongside you? Share this story with anyone who's facing a tempting shortcut, anyone making choices they might regret, anyone who needs reminding that some bargains cost more than we home can ever afford to pay. Subscribe for more African folklore with timeless lessons. And in the comments, tell me, if the ghost market appeared in your town, would you have the strength to walk away? Until next time, remember the lesson of Kofi Mensa. Be careful what you bargain for. You might just get it.